amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed. Whenever you look my video, whenever you watch my video, share the video to all platforms. Share it to family and friends. Share it in your WhatsApp group so that people can get information on what is happening in the contraption called Nigeria, mainly against the Biafrans, against the Duduas, against the indigenous people in the contraption called Nigeria. I try as much as possible to set the record straight. I don't preach hate speech. I don't speak against people. I set the record straight. The only important thing I do here is to make sure that the plight of the people remains on the front burner and the world will know the true story of what is going on in the contraption called Nigeria.
My guest is a two-term governor of Ekiti State. He couldn't conclude his first term in office as a result of an impeachment on the 16th of October 2006, but made a strong comeback in 2016, about 10 years later, defeating an incumbent, Ayodele Fayoshe is a vocal critic of President Buhari and the APC government. He wanted to be Nigeria's president in 2019, but later dropped the idea, but he appears to have rekindled that aspiration. And tonight, the former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayoshe, joins us on the program. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
You eventually made up your mind, isn't it? I never thought that you were going to, but you did. Why did you change your mind?
Well, at no point did I change my mind. I only do things at the right time. It's a presidential office, and the handling must be presidential. It's different from being a governor, and beyond that, you want to serve a nation with diversity. So you need to make up your mind and take a position, which finally I took a few days back, and consequently I took the form today.
What inspired your decision to want to become? This is not the first time you were not in the idea. 2019 you were prevailed upon and you dropped the idea. Now you're going for that same aspiration. What inspired your decision to wanting to become Nigeria's president?
Seun, I found myself in the office of a governor and realized that you can't keep complaining. You can't keep giving excuses why things are not running well if you leave a system to people who could not handle same. So for me, as somebody in 2000, fairly naive politically, took up the challenge and I became governor in 2003. And like you said, and one thing I would have loved you to have corrected in the script you read earlier was there was an impeachment that was since annulled by the court.
Well, it happened that you did not, the premise was that there was an impeachment which did not allow you to conclude your term in office at the time.
Correct.
That's the fact.
Correct. But you have to balance it. It was annulled by the court.
Well, but that was the premise at the time.
Thank you. So, and you want to recall that then as a young man, I gave my best, and beyond that, for anybody in Nigeria that has defeated two incumbents, you must be doing something right. For an economy like Ekiti's economy and population, you must be doing something right. And for you to have left in the circumstance and came back strong and won in all the 16 local government areas of a state, beyond that, I am the only Ekiti man that has gotten the highest vote ever, defeated two incumbents. So what I'm saying to you tonight is that I find it expedient, necessary to equally come out and give my best to Nigerians without desperation.
One would wonder that you're someone who is presently facing corruption charges in court. You don't think that is a deterrent to your aspirations?
You see, let me tell you, I was equally facing it. I was charged during my first tenure. I faced that corruption charges, which was, today if you come, they will say you are saying it because of whatever reasons. But I won in court and gave me the opportunity to contest. While I was on trial, I'd won the election. That shows that sometimes, if not majority of the times, you find out that it's just to put things against people. But I don't want to discuss, because it will be as if you are making case for yourself, because this matter is before the court. So, but let me say to you, taking me to court is beyond the person that has taken me. It's now in the hands of the court. And the Constitution of Nigeria that binds us together says I'm an innocent man until you are proven guilty. So don't let us bring that as a yardstick to destroy anyone.
Not destroying.
I'm just saying.
It's just for probity's sake. And the fact that the point is that you don't think that you need to clear your name first.
No, there's
before gunning for the #1 office in the land.
There's nothing to clear. The issue is that the people that charge you to court might be wrong.
But it's a fight against the state.
Listen, the state might be wrong.
It's prosecuting you.
Yes, the state, and anybody could prosecute you. But the powers of prosecution is different from power of justice. So let's leave that to justice. This matter is before the court.
No, I'm not delving into the meat of the case you're facing in court. I'm just saying, for the issue of morality and your public perception,
you see, in a country,
just a moment, if I may ask the question, sir. You are in court, and you don't think that you need to clear your name first and foremost before seeking the votes of Nigerians?
So, the fact remains, if it's a country where things are done properly, you find out that most people charged to court were not supposed to be charged ab initio. Even those people that charge them are supposed to be in the prison, rather. But don't let me go into it. I want to say to you, since the Constitution permits me and says I remain an innocent man until proven otherwise. So I am living within the ambit of a provision of our Constitution, fairness, which protects me and protects the state. So that does not come to play. Even when the EFCC at some point in Nigeria was saying they were going to use it against some aspirants, it was clearly, the court clearly said it to them that they are innocent people except the court says otherwise.
And I'm going to also make an inference, because that is one of the big allegations that the APC has had against your party, that your party mismanaged this nation, and that what we're seeing today is an import of the mismanagement of your party's 16 years of reign in this country. And that again, as a member of the PDP, you are one that's spoken vocally against the president and the APC government. Now, if you're seeking office under this climate, how do you think that Nigerians will perceive you?
Let me just take you backward and show you, if I were to be a prophet, I would be making a lot of money. If you see, at the time President Jonathan was leaving, he left some words behind. And I was equally very vocal, like you said. I said to Nigerians, I have known President Buhari for too long. I was a young boy when he became the head of state. I knew what this country went through. And I was saying it, a lot of people were criticizing me. Is it only you? Is it only you? Today, everybody can tell. Today, everywhere, every household will say Fayoshe was a prophet at the time. May I say to you, the situation that this president, this government and the president has plunged this country, it was Chibok girls against President Jonathan. Today, our case is more than Chibok. Have you ever seen a nation in the whole world, I've never heard of one, that, well, they have given them a better name now. They call them bandits. That's an English, nice English word. That will go and attack airport, train. Today is a deadly occurrence. They go from one institution to the other to arrest, to carry people. Can President Buhari or the APC justify the current things in our country? The economy, a bag of rice when Jonathan was living was 8,000. Today is about 30,000. What do we say about the economy in shambles? If you go to anywhere now, people are begging. They are beggars in their own country. It has gone to a state of hopelessness. Look at our currency. Forget about individuals contesting. Let us talk about our country. The country is in trouble. And this was the same thing that happened in 1984. Go and read the text and the things said by contemporaries and people in government with President Buhari. see where we are today. Sometimes I wonder if the president knows what's going on in the country. This is not personal to him. And people must not bring in sentiments. Can we continue like this, unabated? If nothing happens in 2023, then we can as well be sold to China. God forbid. Go ahead.
No, so you've not answered my question quite. I mean, the question I was asking is that the APC has said your party led this nation to the point where it is right now. And he said, I mean, there was a guest who was sitting right where you were sitting yesterday, that there was a time that monies from the hands of those who are in power were being buried all across the world. Those are the words that he used. I mean, the APC government came into office and they said they discovered that people in your party had almost run this country aground, and that is what we're seeing today.
Sheon, do you remember how much President Jonathan left in the coffers of our foreign reserve? Do you remember how much was in, what is this account called now? I remember in the course of this discussion. But let me say to you, Sheon, if you say somebody has malaria, this present government is cancer.
Why do you say so?
If you say somebody has malaria, if PDP is malaria, or headache, this government is cancer. So, diesel during Jonathan was about 100 naira. Diesel today 700 naira. I can't explain it anymore. I've said it over and over. How many educational institutions are shut down now? Nothing works. In fact, Nigeria is, do I put it in autopilot? They should stop giving excuses after 7 years. The wife that has left my house 7 years ago, still complaining about the black pot in the kitchen that made her to leave. They said they can do it better. Dollar will be 1 to 1. Our currency is 600 to 1 now.
Since you are using a disease as an analogy, maybe I should use the same analogy. If you do not care for a cancer that is emerging at an early stage, if it reaches a stage 4, you might have to cut off that part of the body. Just a moment. If, for example, sir, the reference you're making, let's assume that the PDP has been a cancer, for example, in the life of this nation too, and it wasn't detected early enough. Maybe it's the stage 4 that we're experiencing now that is causing this trouble in this country. Could it be?
So there are two ways to it. It's either we are lying, but because we're elites, we're politicians. We can come here and say sweet things to Nigerians, but the man taking the brunt knows the truth. If China's television, if you are not impacting them, they will have changed you. And let me say to you, Nigerians now know the difference because this government is 419 government.
Why did you say so? That's a harsh word.
Excuse me. It's not personal to an individual.
No, 419 means that fraudulent.
Original one. Excuse me.
Fraud.
Excuse me. They defrauded Nigerians.
How?
By the word. How can somebody says, when I become president, dollar will become 1 to 1. They went further to tell you that these refineries that you see when they come back, Nigeria will have more than enough, they will export. So these things are not adding up. Look at the security situation. General Buhari, I listened to him in his meeting address. He said, as a general, I will bring my experience to bear. Railway to Kaduna, no general in the army today can drive on that road. A lady came to collect her form today. She drove to Kano, 2.5 hours. Flew from Kano 50 minutes to Abuja. Whereas Kaduna to Abuja is about 2 hours. They just released somebody now. One of the victims of the train incident was said to have muzzled about 100 million and was just released quietly. So what country are we in? Can't you see that Kaduna, for instance, Kaduna State, if I were president of Nigeria, I would resign. See,
over the incident in Kaduna?
No, too many things. It's only we have no shame in Africa. African presidents have no shame. They will be sleeping inside their vomit. Honorable men will give in the towel and say, no, I can't continue.
But things went bad when you were governor. You did not resign.
Tell me things that went back here.
I mean, in your time and the second time, there were attacks on some of your people in some communities.
I didn't have that.
Before you had the people who were attacking your communities.
That was
I remember you went to those local communities.
No, there was kidnapping in Okiakwirele.
But you didn't resign at the time?
No. Wait a second. Number one, I took steps no other governor in this country has taken. Maybe a few. I went straight to Okiakwirele. I slept there. I was with my people there. We chased the people concerned straight to Kogi and Kwara. We took steps. Today in Ekiti, they know me. They know the efforts I've put in place. During my tenure, kidnappers left my state. Not today when you have traditional rulers being kidnapped, being shot. That never happened in my
country. But salaries were owed during your time in office.
No.
You owed months of salary. You didn't resign at the time.
No.
Because, I mean, they say if you must come to equity, you must come with clean hands. So because if you're asking some leaders should resign, people would ask you, why didn't you resign when things went bad when you were governor?
Thank you. I don't want to make this issue of resignation the main topic of today. But let me equally tell you very clearly, Sheung. Salaries are functions of your resources. Let us be very honest with ourselves. My IGR in Ekiti, and anybody in Ekiti, any governor in Ekiti, without prejudice to anybody, cannot squeeze money out of a dry tissue. Because in Ekiti, the maximum IGR you can garner is about 250 million. Where would you get it from? Ekiti is a landlocked. The other ones we say is politics. The allocation that comes into Ekiti is what you can manage. And as at the time I was leaving, we were owing 2 months' salary. Because the federal government at the time, because of my voice, denied me budget support, denied me Paris Club, and a number of opportunities for my state. Because of me. Immediately, Governor Waimi Kim was paid. You remember in some states, even before that, an election, they would just give them like a 10 billion naira support and all. I don't like mentioning such issues because it's not between myself and them. But she'll round it up by telling the truth to Nigerians. Even if we don't tell them the truth, they are feeling the heat more than ever.
All right. We'll take a breather, Your Excellency. But when we come back, we'll look at the issue of zoning. Why you want to be president? Why you think that you have what it takes to lead this country? And whether or not you can also get a ticket of your party. And if you get a ticket of your party, the chances of the PDP at the polls is a very big one with this. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on the program. Our former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayoshe, has been speaking with us on the program. He obtained his presidential nomination from today and joins about 13 others who are eyeing the PDP ticket. Let's continue our conversation. But we'll start this segment by looking at the zoning issue in the PDP. Let me give you an idea of those who have obtained the form so far that we know, about 14 of them. And I've tried also to put them in perspective. Some of them will be, since the party is discussing issues of zoning, those who are from the south and those who are from the north. Take a look at those who have obtained the form those who are of the northern extraction, from Bukola Saraki, former Senate President, Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President, Bala Muhammad, Governor of Bauchi State, Aminu Tambuwa, Governor of Sokoto State, and Mohammadu Ayatudin, an economics and a former banker. Let's flip the page now and look at those who are of the southern extraction. Unwachuku Anakwenze, as one of those who are one of the new entrants into the league of heavyweight political fighters as far as these races concerned, to Samu Habwa, Nyinsam Wike of Rivers State, Dele Mohammadu, a notable journalist and publisher, Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State, Pius Ayim, former Senate President, Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State, and Oliver Tarela Diana is the only woman who had obtained form So far that we know. As far as the PDP is concerned, and the figures and details that we have, these people are the ones we know that have obtained their aspiration forms and nomination forms. So let's get talking. Yesterday I also showed you this map, which of course try to put things in perspective as far as zoning argument is concerned. So in the last 20 years or so, since 1999, take a look at the leaders that we've had in the presidential seat. From Olusegun Obasanjo from 1999, who had a 2-term in office from the Southwest, and to Mohammadu Yar'Adua, who died in office, spent about 3 years in office, just almost exactly 3 years in office, and his vice president at the time, Goodluck Jonathan, took over from him, spent over 5 years to complete that tenure. Then we had Mohammadu Buhari from the APC, from Katsina State, the same state where Mohammadu Yar'Adua also came from. So if you look at it, it does look like 2 from the south, 2 from the north. But the years that they spent, within these 1999 and 2022 is not that even. If you look at it, you look at 10 years or so from the north, 13 years from the south. But if you add a year that Muhammadu Buhari will have left to complete his tenure as a 2-term president, it will be 11 years. So the argument is, where should the next president come from? Let me ask you, Your Excellency, give us an idea of your own argument. Because if you do not believe that the presidency should go to the south, you probably will not obtain the form. And the question is, we're hearing that your party the zoning committee may have thrown it open.
Well, Seun, let me start with the word thrown it open. I disagree with you. Nigeria as a country has a diversity. And for that reason, we must tread carefully. We must be very careful. The peculiarities, including the minorities, the south, the north, the middle belt, and sentiments of religion, for us to coexist, brought into the fore, to create within our constitution that there should be a time to the north, there should be a time to the south. If you remember what happened in 1999, what actually brought President Obasanjo was reasons of being aggrieved because the South particularly do not have good time spent within the military postings. And the agitation was so much, and the killing of Abiola and all that was what brought President Obasanjo. I remember in 1999, the thing was purposely zoned to the southwest, which gave Olufalaye and Obasanjo the opportunity. That was no northerner. The only northerner then was late Abinu, from Kano. I remember, but for real, it was between Obasanjo and Olufalaye, just to encourage zoning and pacify different zones. Let's go further and come to the last election, because I don't want to bore you. The last election, the last convention in Port Harcourt was purely a northern affair.
Why do you say so?
It was a northern affair. All the aspirants were from the north. So when you were talking about my not contesting last time, I was told it is going to be a northern affair. And that was why you had the Sarakis of this world, the Atiku, the Tambuwa, and all of them. There was no southerner. So if we don't begin to put things in perspective, rightfully, our children would ask questions. You see, the unfortunate demise of former president from Yar'Adua is not enough an excuse for anybody to take away the letters of our constitution. Now, where I was going to talk about again now is this. Do we say, if you contest an election and you lost, they must continue to reproduce you so that until you win, zoning will count? No. No. In Ekiti, I had the last election between Adeyeye from the south, Olujimi from the south, the candidate that I supported from the south. Unfortunately, we lost that election. Does it mean we have not given you opportunity? No, we've given you. The last election has given opportunity to the north. If they had won that election, they would be there today. But for those, I don't want to forget a few things because we need to put Nigerians in perspective. I don't believe in not zoning this presidential ticket.
So you think the zoning committee made an error?
No, I was a member of the zoning committee, except for the last day that I wrote them that I will be picking up my form.
But you think that the committee made an error in throwing it open?
I believe they made an error. It was wrong. And to me, they didn't even say it like that. All they said was they would rather, because the party ought to have started the process a long time, for reasons of the fact that some people had bought forms, maybe the party can find a way to work around consensus. They never made that statement.
That they will throw it up?
No.
So the party is neither, the zoning report was neither here nor there?
You find out who is lying with time. You know, before you say they put ABC to it. And let me say to you, the only solution is that zoning, nothing more. Because the North cannot contest the last primaries, the one we had in Port Harcourt, and be all northern affairs, and come and tell us it won't be a southern affair. Not because I'm a southerner, because it was proper. And the more reason why I took my form today, I won't be blamed for that. They will come back and say one day, and say to us one day, after all, you said it should be southern affair. Who came out? And let me go a little further for you, Sheung. Look at this from this angle. Who tells you that it is the North that will give us the vote? Some people say it, and I hear it. Let the person that can win. Who can win? Who tells you I cannot win? Everybody on an election day will hold his own ward, his own local government. We all work together, even after primaries. We have to come together and work for whoever wins that election. So if I'm picked, everybody, I can't work in Kano, I can't work in nearby state, Ondo State. Everybody will go and hold ground for that party, in honor of that party. So stop telling me it is this person that can win. We are all great politicians in our states. We all donate our votes.
But is it not true? Is it not true, Mr. Fayoshe, that there are people who command the numbers, and there are regions of the country, for example, there are 19 northern states, FCT making it 20. And there are 17 southern states.
That's where
and in terms of voting population,
I was going to somewhere.
Out of the first 10, you have at least 6 northern states.
Let me tell you this, wait. We are talking about PDP. Let us look at the number from the states of the aspirants in question. Let me come from our respectable leader, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar. He won in Adamawa by less than 20,000 votes. Less than. With all respect to him, for reasons of analysis. Go to Sokoto. What is the voting difference? Let us go to Bukola Saraki in Kwara. We actually lost there. Sheung, let us sit back and look at figures. When somebody is saying the person that can win, who is the person that can win?
You lost in your state, Ekiti, in the presidential election?
No. Yes, we lost.
You lost the presidential
election. We lost. Now, the issue largely is that when a sitting governor is there, it's not as easy as you expect. But that is not the issue here. So let us talk about the characters. Because when I was looking at the pictures displayed on the TV, I saw the people going around for consensus. Who will step down for who? You asked me to step down. I won't step down.
No, the northern candidates are asking for, they're going consulting to sit down.
They said they want all of us to come and do consensus. I don't know about them. I have taken form today. I am not going to step down. They will drag me to, who knows it's me Nigerians wants to vote for, sir? Do you know the mind of Nigerians? Do you know who they want? I will go to that election. I will step down. Any meeting or anywhere they talk about consensus, as good as that language looks good, is undemocratic.
But unfortunately, it's part of the.
I just said that.
It's part of the law, electoral law.
Excuse me, sir. That is if it's achievable. That is if we all agree. If we don't agree, we go to the field. We are not like APC. Somebody will be begging you on the field. Oh, please, I use God Almighty to beg you. Don't contest. You saw what happened during that convention. Somebody came, I'm not stepping down. So, for people like me, I'm a young man, only 62. I won't step down.
Are you a young man, 62?
I say, well, it's the energy is there.
Because you're looking at appealing to the young people because they make more of... you've crossed that Rubicon like that, 62
I don't want you to forget this matter that I'm talking, because Nigerians want to hear this. This, if you look... Okay, let me look at this angle again, Sheung. We lost election in 2015 for certain reasons. This amalgamation of people trying to, at the end of the day, it backfires. Jonathan, if, despite his flaws, if we had supported him, and some of our leaders did not go to APC, if some of them had become president in APC, would they come back? Let's be reasonable. With all respect to former vice president, will he come back? Will Senator Bukola Saraki come back? When the journey was rough and bad, they ran back. Today, because our party is a party, we want to knit everybody together. We must not forget history. Today, I'm glad that they are challenging people jumping from one party to the other. Those are the ideologies that are missing. It is because of the interest of some people they are calling the word consensus. Did you see that in the Western world? If you are capable, it is the South that is supposed to be talking about, we are not ready to go to primaries. It is the South that is supposed to be saying that. But we are, I don't know of others. And you will not, as long as I do not agree, you cannot do...
What if the party says you should go for consensus?
Yes, sir. The party cannot determine consensus. They can... Who is going to chair the consensus?
I'm saying if that is in the interest of the party. The majority, sir. Because in party affairs, there is a majority and a minority.
I'm sure you equally know that I'm not totally naive about party affairs. You only report it. Let me tell you the truth, Cheung. It's within my right to contest an election. I believe if they choose me as the consensus, it's okay. Say, I won't fight. Oh, you see me, I'll be coming every day to tell Nigerians what I would do. Let them choose me. That is the only solution.
What about your friend, your friend, the likes of Udom Emmanuel, your friend, Governor Nyesom Wike? These are your friends.
If they choose Governor Wike,
would you step down for any of them?
I will still contest. Okay. Let me tell you today. If they choose Governor Wike, I will still contest. If they choose Governor Udom, my good friend, I will still contest. Oh. Let all of us... It's the South that is supposed to be saying, no, they must zone it to our side at all costs.
You think you have what it takes to win the election for your party?
It's the Nigerians that will determine who will win for them. How did I win in Ekiti, a two-term governor, defeating 2 incumbents? So don't say what you are saying.
A state election is different from a presidential election.
Your life starts from somewhere. If I don't matter, why would you bring me here? If I don't matter, why do you bring me here? Nigerians loves me. It is this issue of your consensus turning yellow to black, blue to green, that you try to silence some people. This one, I purposely went there to get this form. And I will start to go to states now to let them know I am prepared for the onslaught. I am going to contest this election. Anybody doubting the consensus, let them pick me as the solution.
You gave yourself a nickname. You called yourself Oshoko.
Oshoko Mole.
I used to be Oshoko because that was what you used locally. Would that be your national appellation now?
So, if I walk through the streets, you know my street credibility. If I go to the east, if I go to the north, everywhere, people love me because I'm not a pretender. Today, after picking my form, I went straight to Yaoyo to go and hit Amala. And Pomo, most of us, we don't even prepare for after office. We still want to be big man, big man, big man, big man. I am whom I am by God's grace. I'm not going to copy.
Is that your secret credibility that is that makes you think you're deserving of the office or the capacity to want to be the president of Nigeria? And I'd like to ask you, do you have what it takes to be able to solve Nigeria's problems?
So let me quickly give you one example that you will love. In Ukraine, that man is do they call him a jester or
a former comedian?
Comedian. Do you know, ever thought of it that that man would do that, what he's doing today? People measure people by certain things in our country. In our country, a general has become a comedian. In Ukraine, a comedian has become a general. Look at the way that guy is standing up to Russia. I am a man with capacity. Ekiti are well-enlightened people. If there was a mistake voting you the first time, they won't vote you the second time. And I'm saying to you, with all respect, Mr. President, if he's not a medical doctor, will rely on somebody to be in charge of a Ministry of Health. Mr. President, if he's not an architect, will depend on certain levels of characters. If Mr. President, if he's not an economist, will depend on certain people to manage the economy. Presidency is a collection of people with capacity to work, and the president, the buck stops at his table by the kind of characters he chose to run the affairs of his country. So anybody coming to tell you that he knows it all, is an economist, is a liar. Nigeria is not a country where somebody says, I am an economist, I have answer to it. No, sir. No, sir. When you get to certain levels, you will know that rather than claiming to know it all, you need more hands to do that.
Then let me ask you, what do you think at the moment is Nigeria's biggest problem?
The Nigeria's biggest problem as of today, or let us say, is...
As we speak right now.
As we, well, we all know that leadership has become an issue. Leadership has... Everybody in this current government, our authorities, look at their convention. Today they will sign letter for this one, you are the caretaker committee. Next tomorrow there will be another order from the top. You are another caretaker. Because Nigeria is an autopilot. For about 4 weeks when this became an issue, did you see anybody address the nation? Nobody addressed us.
Example, when the fuel crisis issue came, if you were the president of Nigeria, what would you have done differently?
Let me say to you, in the first place, like I said to you, you need the right people in the right places. Everybody is an authority in this government. Everybody is an authority. You know, when I was governor of Ekiti, I know from day one that that state does not have money. So I was available. I was available. What the president of Ukraine is doing today, he knows he does not have the capacity to face Russia. But he was available everywhere seeking help for his country. Today, our problem is, okay, so let me say this. If you have 1 billion in your account, as at the time this government came into power, that 1 billion then was $3 million. Today, your 1 billion naira is $1.7
$1.7 million.
Yes, sir. If you continue like this, they will use wheelbarrow. If God does not give us a leader who is ready to take the bull by the horn, we will use wheelbarrow to take our currency.
Do you have a clue to resolving those kind of issues?
Number one, we must change our attitude. The government is bad. The people out there are worse in character. Because it's not the president of Nigeria who say who see an Okada rider crossing or a car overtaking when the lights are on, telling you not to cross. A number of things must change. Patriotism must be first order, and it takes the leaders to lead by example.
So what would you do in that regard? You've identified something.
Yes.
So practically speaking, what would you do?
Practically speaking, is for that leader to be available and to lead by example. If I become president of Nigeria today, the first thing I will ban is siren, usage of siren. Because a number of things are wrong. That is why you see once 419 boy will put small light on his vehicle, armed robber, kidnapper, they will overtake, the police will just salute them back. Because there's nobody checking anybody. Siren has become, that's just to give you an example, bringing order to the system. So we have gone far into the grave. We are not totally dead, but we can be recovered.
On a final note, your party got a bloody nose twice. What is the hope that you might be able to win an election in 2023?
So today, there are two 3 things that wins an election. 1, the people by themselves.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We'll kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.